which is concerned. I'll go through these games here in my head. I don't have a recap for you. I'll just go through a word or two of each ball game from Saturday in my head, and then we'll go right to your calls at 888 Mad Dog 6. With I see a lot of guys up there. Jim's up there. Mike in South Carolina's up there. Mike in Louisiana. I'll get to you in a minute here. And the Patriots signed James Harrison, by the way. Boy, how about them signing Harrison, who just was released by Pittsburgh. So there you have it. All right, here we go now. We start Saturday. A terrible job by the Ravens. They did not play well at all. Actually, Indianapolis had a chance to tie the game after that block punt late, and Indianapolis was down there. Down 23-13, down deep in Baltimore territory, settled for a field goal, as you'd expect with that offense. And then they block a punt with 2:25 to go, and they got thwarted. So they had a chance to tie that game. I'll tell you one thing about Pagano, and he's probably not going to make it, but I'll tell you, his teams play hard. Very rarely does Indianapolis get blown out. You ever notice that? And very rarely they ever walk into a place and get destroyed. Unlike Houston, that's been pounded, they don't get blown out. They play hard, and they played hard there on Saturday. An unimpressive win for the Ravens, and Steve Torrey mentioned this to me today, and he's 100% right. They are a very unappealing, unattractive, boring team. Now, you like them against New England because they play well against them, but boy, I'll tell you, they are, Flacco's not great. He's okay. He's pretty good. He's not great. They don't have a lot of weapons offensively. I don't like what Harbaugh is moaning and gloating about the start times. It's a very, 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 I don't know. It's a blasé team, and they were blasé on Saturday. I didn't see Minnesota Green Bay. Felt like I was coming down with another appendicitis attack until I realized I don't have an appendix anymore. I didn't feel well on Saturday night, so I didn't see any of this game. Thank God. 5 degrees, nothing going on. This was a complete bore. Al frozen in the Lambeau press box as Minnesota buried the Packers, beat Hudley, and away we go now with Minnesota right now settled in as the 2 seed. They needed to win that game. Well, they could still lose the 2 seed theoretically if Carolina wins and they lost to the Bears. But Minnesota now is protecting that bye week, and they will do that here against, you would think, in a good spot against the Bears at home on Sunday afternoon. Minnesota did a nice job of thwarting the Packers on a couple of spots in the second half, and they were almost scoring, so Minnesota beats the Packers. Chargers, they gave up an onside kick first series of the game, but Bryce Petty was atrocious. The Jets couldn't do a thing. They got deep in San Diego or L.A. territory late, down 14-7. Petty was awful in this game. Tells you how bad Hackenberg must be if he doesn't get a chance to play. He's a second-round pick from a couple of years ago, the Penn State quarterback. Not great for Petty. And the Chargers, didn't do much. They'll take it, but they didn't do much. 14-7. Gates scored a touchdown. The Jets were, they're competitive, the Jets. And this was a game right on the number, 6.5, 7 in L.A. Hung in there, going home on Christmas Eve. They went 2-0 at the Meadowlands this year. They got as many wins at the Meadowlands as the Giants do, who have 1 win at the Meadowlands because the Giants, of course, their second win was at Denver. Arizona beat the Giants 23-0. For the Giants, to me, I don't understand what they have done here. I understand that Spagnuolo wanted to go out there and see if he could be the head coach, so he wanted to be competitive. But the Giants throwing Eli Manning out there game after game after game when they got Davis Webb sitting there absolutely makes no sense whatsoever to me. We all know what Eli can do. We all know that Eli's got a little something left. We saw that the week before against the Eagles. But this is stupid. I mean, why play Eli the whole game against Arizona? Eli shouldn't have been playing the last 3 weeks. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. The team is awful. They get shut out. They were miserable against Arizona. They got a second or a third round pick. I think he's a third round pick. Is he not, the cow kid? Sitting there on the bench. He got guys on the defense saying the kid's going to be a great NFL quarterback if he just gets a chance to say it. Landon Collins says that. Everybody says that, and nobody ever sees him. We don't see him playing any games. And you can't put him in the fourth quarter down 23-0. That doesn't solve anything. The kid's got to start these games. He's got to start a game. The Giants have mishandled this quarterback spot so badly, and it's not just the Giants. Eli, too. Very, you can make an argument, very selfish, should have told McAdoo a long time ago before that Raider game. You know what? I understand. We got a couple of kids here, especially the young kid Webb. You know what? You want to take me out after the half? It's not the end of the world. Put the kid in. He could have said that. He didn't do it. And, now Eli, you got to take him out there with a set of prongs to get him off the field. absolutely absurd that Webb is not playing on a team that is beyond miserable. I don't understand that. They were terrible there against the Cardinals on Sunday afternoon in the desert. We all know about the, I'll tell you, it's about the Browns. It's fascinating with Cleveland. They're down, I believe it was, it may have been 6. They were down by one possession. It was either 9-3 or 6-3. The game was close. And Myles Garrett makes a deflected interception in the third quarter. He wheels. He kind of maneuvers in the snow for a touchdown. It's Soldier Field. And a defensive lineman's got a helmet and he's offsides, and the play is negated. And the Bears go right down the field and score a touchdown. I believe the score is 6-3 at the time. I believe. And I said to myself, boy, the poor Browns, they cannot get a break. I love the uniform. They're wearing that great old brown uniform with the white and the orange trim with the snow. Oh, it was a great scene. And they have a great interception with the brown helmet. Oh, I loved it. They had a great interception by the number 1 pick, and it gets overturned by a penalty. Boy, the poor Browns can't get out of their own way. And don't listen to Josh Rosen. If you like him, draft him. Don't listen to Rosen. He's got no other option. He's not sitting out a year, and he's not going to go back to play with Chip Kelly. So just draft him if that's the guy you like. Browns lose to the Bears. They're going to go 0-16. Patriots, we know, good second half. Unbelievable. Terrible call with Benjamin on the play there in the right corner of the end zone. Hard to believe that they overturned that. Just an absolute absurdity that they overturned that after they ruled it a touchdown on the field. That was not an incomplete. That was a touchdown. I made a mistake with Pete. It was a touchdown, and then they overturned it. There was nothing there to overturn it. They had a pick six Buffalo. They were right in this game. And then the Patriots did what they do in the second half and put the game away. Boy, I tell you, New England was giving up 11 or 12 points. And at halftime, you thought you were in great shape, and the Patriots win by 21. Bills obviously need some help now Sunday. And the Patriots have to beat the Jets for the top seed. Redskins beat Denver. Redskins got a chance now to be 8-8. A lot of people think that Vaughn Joseph could be out of there. No quarterback in Denver. Elway was not at the game, by the way, I don't think. I think he went to go watch Josh Allen play in his bowl game, and he was not at the game. They need a quarterback in the worst way. This is after he screwed up the draft pick for Paxton Lynch at Memphis. And if anybody saw Lynch play in the bowl game a couple years ago against Auburn, the whole world knew he couldn't play, and somehow Elway took him in the first-round pick, and that turned out to be a complete bust. So, and the Denver loses to the Redskins, and the Redskins play the Giants this week with a chance to finish 8-8. Gruden should not be fired. If he is, that's a terrible mistake. Guy can coach. That would be a mistake if that's the case. Carolina beat Tampa. Tampa's field goals are a mess. They had a chance to put this game away with 3 minutes to go. I didn't see this game. I was in church. I didn't see it. Not to make a big deal that I was in church. I just, 4 o'clock church. Can't watch the end of these games. But I know they missed a late field goal, which gave a little impetus for Carolina. Carolina needed to win this game. And if Carolina had lost this game, you may have had Carolina and Atlanta as the standard all game on Sunday. You may have had that with the winner going to the playoffs and maybe the loser being out. So that may have been the 8 o'clock game for NBC if Carolina lost, and they were lucky they didn't. I tell you, the Bucs have played well these last 2 weeks. Terrible job of the Lions. Maybe Jim Caldwell is in trouble. I don't think anybody quite knows about that. He did get a 1-year contract extension before the year, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just sort of he wasn't a lame duck. I think they all like Caldwell in Detroit, but they have a new GM there. Caldwell's like a minister from everybody who tells me, who knows him, but I just don't think he's a big coach. Lions not showing up and losing in Cincinnati is bad. Now listen, the Lions on a great team outside of Stafford. They don't really have a lot of great players, but you can't, when you got a chance to save your season for another week, you can't lose the Bengals in Cincinnati. And they did, 26-17. Miami was more competitive than you think. Kansas City recovers. They win their last couple of big games. They put themselves in the postseason, 29-13 against the Dolphins on Sunday in Kansas City. A lot of empty seats in Arrowhead. There was a ice storm the night before. It was Christmas Eve, but there wasn't a lot of people in that stadium on Sunday afternoon at noontime. Chiefs, Alex Smith played well. He's played well, Alex Smith, lately. We'll see how the Bengals handle that. The Chiefs handle that. They can sort of have a restful game there against Denver. The game means nothing. The Chiefs cannot go up or down. They are the 4th seed, and they will be home, I think, against the Ravens the next Sunday, and I think that game will be Sunday at 1 o'clock at Arrowhead with Baltimore visiting them on Wild Card Weekend. weekend. Rams beat Tennessee. Good game. Tennessee was right in the game. They got a fumble recovery in the end zone, basically in the end zone. Defensive lineman recovered a fumble to 3. He rumbled in. And then the next series, Gurley went 80 yards on a screen to negate the big play that Tennessee had. I don't think Gurley's the MVP. We'll talk to Ira about that a little later on. How do you split the MVP ballot there with Goff? Plus, you got McVay. I'm not giving him the MVP, but I know people now have said, let's make him the MVP. Rams beat Tennessee. It's a good win by the Rams. They had a big win the week before in Seattle. You figured they'd be a little flat, and they walked into Tennessee and won the game against the Titans, who needed it 27-23. Rams, now they can move up and down. The Rams cannot get to the 1 or the 2. They could be the 3 or the 4. If they lose this week and the Saints win, they drop to the 4. If they win this week, they're the 3, and they'll play the 6 seed Atlanta if they win. So some maneuverability for the Rams. Now remember, if you're the 3 seed, you play Minnesota in the divisional round. As Peter alluded to, if you're the 4 seed, you go play in Philadelphia. So we'll see how they handle that. Niners and Rams. The Niners and Rams, mark this down right now. The Niners and Rams will be a Sunday night game next year. They have Garoppolo at the Coliseum against the Rams. Michaels and Collinsworth. They will have a Sunday night game early in the year next year with San Francisco and Los Angeles. That'll be a fun game. Yeah, I guarantee it. Those two teams are fun. Garoppolo is excellent. Saints beat Atlanta. They won the game easily. Falcons could not put the ball in the end zone when they had some opportunities. 23-13 for the Saints. A nasty game. Atlanta, I don't love. I don't trust. They should win this week. I wouldn't assure it, but they should win this week. Saints, of course, win the game. They get a home game if they beat the Bucs in Tampa. Seattle, I was shocked by this game. I really was. I didn't see it. From what I was told, it sounds like Dak Prescott wasn't very good. Good performance all the way around by the Seahawks. They showed some spunk for Pete Carroll. I never thought they'd win this game, especially after Atlanta lost at 1 o'clock with Elliott bouncing back for the Cowboys and the whole bit, and the Cowboys lay an egg. Really surprised me. Seattle knocked Dallas out of there 21-12. Dallas, of course, 4 balls. They were deep inside the 5-6 yard line, 21-12, and they threw 4 times. Made no sense whatsoever, and they ended up missing a field goal. San Francisco beat Jacksonville, strange game, 16-0. Then Jacksonville had the lead at 19-16, and then the Niners go crazy, and then they had to withstand a Jacksonville comeback. Garoppolo's played very, very well, 44-33 at a very feisty Levi's Stadium there on Sunday. They're buying into Garoppolo, and why not? Houston had a first down at the Pittsburgh 1 late in the second quarter, down 10-0, and for whatever the reason, they threw the ball 4 times, all incomplete. I think the last one was intercepted, which was a dumb scenario by Bill O'Brien. And the Steelers cakewalked against Houston 34-6. And then, of course, the Philly game last night against the Raiders, where Philadelphia was very lucky to win that game. That's the football for the weekend. Your calls will get you right to it as we continue here on Mad Dog Unleashed.